So I'm going to get started. You can see my screen. These are my digits. If you need to get a hold of me, just type in my name in any social media and you'll find me. I'm the same name everywhere. There are 5 rules for a Bob McCraney presentation. 1, I talk fast. So listen fast or slow me down, whichever one you need is fine. Okay? Laugh at me, laugh with me. Don't care. These should be funny. These are not stressful presentations, hopefully. Um, Social media and websites are fun. Okay? Don't get overwhelmed by this. Don't get overwhelmed by this, please. And by the way, 4 is this is how I run my business. If you had a panel of people up here, you've had other opinions. I wouldn't agree with them, but you'd have other opinions, and that's fine. So just take this with a grain of salt. This is how I do it. You can do it any way you want. And 5, if I'm sharing screens and you see passwords or somebody posted something on social you don't agree with, just don't hold that against me. I can't control what comes up when I share a site that is, Gina's laughing like she knows that if you share, like I will never share Instagram on a live screen because God knows what's going to show up on it. Okay. Who is here has seen a sales funnel? Bye, Sandra. I love you. Okay. Who's seen a sales funnel here? Okay. Top of funnel is awareness. Top of funnel is like waving your arms around, getting people to look at you. Okay. Awareness is all the things you're sending out into the world so that people understand who you are. Next comes interest. Once you've got their eyes, you have to say something that engages them. Okay. Once you have your eyes, let me admit all these people who are running a little bit late. We love them, but they're late. Once you have their eyes, you have to say something engaging. Okay. So that's where the interest level is. Then comes the decision. I've looked at him. He's kind of goofy sounding. Maybe I'll work with him. Have you ever been at the free trial period of a website? If you were at the decision level. Okay. After decision comes client. They actually sign a listing agreement or a buyer's rep agreement, and they work. You go show them houses, and you do all the contracts and things like that. Great. They're a client now. Then we get to fulfillment. We don't get paid until blue. We don't get paid. We're a volunteer for all the other colors. We don't get paid till blue. Then they come to retention, and we hope that they bring their friends and family back to the prospect level, and we work them again. Does this make sense as a sales funnel? Raise a hand. Okay. I want to point out to you that your social medias help with 3 levels of the sales funnel. Social media will help you with awareness, interest, and retention. Okay. Social media will not help you with conversion, decision, or client, but your IDX website will. Okay. I tried to list every brand of IDX up here so that you know that there are lots of different brands, but your website helps at all the levels. What you need to be sure you have, though, is that your social medias focus everybody back to your website. And I bet if I went and checked your social medias right now, a lot of you have forgotten this step. So your sales funnel is awareness and interest, no conversion, and oops, maybe some retention. Okay. This is my bailiwick in the world is that I want to get our websites and our socials working together. And I'm an organic person. I am not a person who loves to pay for lead ads. Okay. I want to bring people to me organically. Yes, that's getting to be a narrow field, but I love it and I do it every month. Who knows what blinker fluid is? Anybody? Ivan, do you know blinker fluid? Okay, so you go to the car shop and you tell them your left blinker isn't working, and you go in there and they come out with this $400 bottle of blinker fluid. Now, Ivan, on your car, this blinker fluid is so good it'll fix the left and the right blinker, and on imports it'll fix the blinkers in the rear. It's only $400. Are you okay with that? And you've heard of blinker fluid before, so you think, well, maybe my car needs that. It's a 30-cent bulb, but they're selling you a lot of bullshit in a bottle, basically. Okay, there's a lot of bullshit in real estate websites right now. Okay, I could put the letters A and I on this mouse and sell you an AI-enabled mouse. And you've heard of A and I, and they go together, and I need that. So, okay, a $400 AI-enabled mouse, that's great. Look out for the stuff that's not real. When they promise you things that are just too good to be true at a highly inflated price, call me if you have questions, okay? There's a lot of BS going on right now in websites for real estate and for social for real estate. If it doesn't sound right, ask your coach, ask me, ask Sandra, but don't buy anything just because it has the letters A and I on it, and it has, it's a bottle of blinker fluid a lot of the time, okay? So the most important person we're designing our sites for is Google, okay? A lot of people have this perception in their mind that the site has to look a certain way, or it has to perform a certain way. We want to be sure Google likes our site more than anyone else likes our site, because Google will then bring people to our site and those people will use it. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. This is a graph of organic traffic on my own site. And you'll see that the traffic died off last June. In June, Google did an update called the helpful content algorithm because AI came into effect. And who's got your mic unmuted? Love you, but mute, please. Google did the helpful algorithm and it took a lot of traffic away from sites. Now, I at least had some altitude. I could afford to lose some height, but I'm gaining it back. Okay? As you're building your site out, I want you to think about what is helpful content. The other thing to think about is Google is now taking nearly 60% of searches do not actually go to somebody's website. 60% of searches, either they find the information they want as a result of the search, or they do another search because what they were searching for wasn't quite right. Out of that 41% that does do something, 28% of that is going to a Google property, whether it's Google Maps or Google YouTube or something like that. It's going to a Google property other than your website. So the percentage of things coming to our sites is actually getting smaller. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean we shouldn't have a website. It means we should have a website that's really well built. Okay? Now, often agents deploy a site. Let's say you buy a website from brand X website company. You heard of them, they're great, brand X website company. And they deploy the site just as the site is given to them. It's deployed poorly, and it doesn't do anything other than just sit there, and you have to pay Facebook and Google ads to get people into your site. Okay? That happens more times than not. And sometimes brand X doesn't want you to do search engine optimization because they want to sell you the ads. Why should they let you do the optimization? You're going to just, who's ever heard the phrase, it's not the cost of the printer that gets you, it's the cost of the cartridges. Okay? HP makes more money on the cartridges than they make on the printer. So they're going to sell you the printer for 150 bucks, but those cartridges are 75 each. Okay? It's great to sell you a website for, a couple $100 and then sell you ads because they either don't tell you how to optimize it or they don't even let you have the options to optimize it. Who's been in that boat? Anybody? Okay. So this is a typical website. This poor flower here on the right. Okay. You have a URL, which is a stem. You have the home page, which is the center part of the flower. I don't know what's the center part of the flower called, but that's the home page. And then you have one page off of it that is basically maybe the About Us page, where you have your realtor pose picture, where you got your arms folded and you're wearing your pretty suit. And that's your whole website. And you wonder why nobody's coming to your site and converting, because you have not filled the site out. Imagine if you built a new construction home and you never moved in a stick of furniture, you never hung anything on the walls, and then later on you complain that the home's not comfortable. You didn't move into it. You've got to move into the site and put in some things about yourself. You cannot just be what they gave you. It's got to have some more stuff to it. It doesn't take much, but you have to do that. Okay? So in this situation, you have the page, the website, and the home page, and a URL. And a lot of times people make the mistake of having a vanity URL. And a vanity URL would be like Angela's Homes for Sale. I would rather you be named after your area. Okay, so Angela, I don't know what part of the world you're in, but let's say you're in St. Louis. I'd rather you have St. Louis Homes for Sale or something similar to that rather than your name. Because if you want to retire someday, it's going to be really easy for somebody to buy your site and be St. Louis Homes for Sale rather than being Angela Rodriguez Homes. Does that make sense? So think about having a geographic name. Now, I will put a caveat here. Do not put the term realtor in your URL. Unless you're Bob McCraney Realtor, you cannot put realtor next to a geographic or a superlative, because your enemy will find you and turn you into trademarks at realtor.com and you'll get a cease and desist letter. Okay? So you can be your name realtor, you cannot be best agent in Tulsa realtor, because somebody will get you. And it may be not this year, it may be next year after you've printed everything and you have everything branded and you get a cease and desist letter. So please remember that. Has anybody ever run into that? Okay, thank God. And always ask your coach or your broker if your names are good. So what I want to do for you on your websites is to have flowers that look like this, where you have multiple landing pages, multiple petals, multiple ways of people finding your houses and finding your stuff. Because once you build it out, people will come to your site. No self-respecting bee is going to pollinate that first flower with just one petal on it. Bees are going to come to these flowers and pollinate everywhere. Does that make sense? Because you want to have your houses available. I want you to think about this. Every one of these websites has a box that says, good luck finding a house here, okay? And who has a website right now, an IDX website? Raise your hands. Okay. So every one of us has a box on there that gives you a list of cities and the ability to search. That's pretty much a function of almost all the IDX sites. Imagine, though, let me pick on Mark. Mark, you and I are going to run a retail clothing store, okay? And so we're gonna have some nice suits and shirts and some hats in the front window. But when somebody comes in, James comes in to buy stuff, we tell him, hey, the size and color you're looking for are in a box in the back room. Go in the back room and find it. We don't have anything on the shelves. We have a couple of nice things in the front window. And James, you have to go rummage the back room to find the size and color you're looking for. Would we sell anything? No, we wouldn't. But we have on our website, here's a couple of nice houses up front. If you want to find a house, here's a box in the back room, go find it. Why don't we put all the houses on display? Why don't we create pages for every city where we list the sizes and styles and price ranges of all the houses? And we fight for what are called long tail keyword searches. Short tail keyword search would be Dallas real estate, 3 words. Dallas homes on a cul-de-sac lot, long tail. Hardly anybody's going to have that link. If I want to find a house in Dallas on a cul-de-sac lot, and I already have that link built, is Google more likely to send people to a site that has a box that says good luck finding it, or a site that has the link built already? If you have the link built, you're more likely to get people to come to your site. Okay, this box is great. It's better to lay it out. Okay, so let's skip over that here. Does this make sense to everybody so far? Almost all the sites have the ability to make links that you can then drop on other pages and drop on other blogs. Only Sierra and Agent Fire do not. So if you're a Sierra client or Agent Fire client, and that's just in their design. I've talked to the head of Sierra, and I'm not trying to beat up Sierra, but they just don't do it this way. Bless you. So this is something you need to think about. Now, on your website, you absolutely must make people sign in on the first house. And I will arm wrestle you about that right here and right now. You have to make people sign in on the first house. Because let's say that you walk into Mark's in my retail clothing store, and we don't make you sign in to the 3rd or 4th house. Basically, we're going to let you steal the first 4 shirts and hope that you pay for the 5th one. Well, I don't like making people pay for the shirts when they come in. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to a website where they make me sign in, so I'm not going to make them sign into mine. You will never get leads if you don't force sign in. And frankly, if they're going to not sign in on the 4th or 5th house, they're not going to sign in on the 1st. But I get leads every month by making people sign in. And we end up getting them converted. Any questions on that? Any disagreements on that? Anybody got an opinion? Okay, cool. I usually get somebody fighting me on that, but trust me, it's the way you should go.
Bob, I had a quick question. What is it that Sierra does not allow?
It does not allow you to do what's called a query string URL. And
Okay.
that means that when you do a search for Dallas homes, price equal, whatever equal, it doesn't do that. It just comes back with the word results. So you can't take that URL and go blog about it. Can I show you a practical example?
Sure.
Okay, so this
I,
is
I
what
know
I'm going to
we had
show.
this set up. I was with Boomtown and we had this set up, and then we put those searches under our Google business page as products that we were selling.
Perfect. That's exactly
But
what you
I've
want to
switched
do.
to Sierra and I haven't searched back into that.
Now, there are sometimes you can trip Sierra into it, and I'm not trying to pick on Sierra, it's just it doesn't do it well. So here I'm in that box, good luck finding your house. I'm gonna pick on Anna, and I want a house in Anna under 600,000, and I want it to have 3 bedrooms. Search. You're gonna see here, city equals Anna, maximum price 600, and bedroom minimum 3. If you and I are running a sandwich store, and this is our order form, we're saying sandwich equals hamburger, cheese equals Swiss, onion equals false. We know exactly what is in this order, and we can take this URL and we can put it on our Google Business Profile. We can put it into our blog. We can put it anywhere, and at any time show the current houses in Anna for sale under 600,000. So there are 2 websites that I mentioned, Agent Fire and Sierra, that return just a URL that says search or results. You have no idea what was ordered, and so you can't blog with that. So you have to go build pages independently. Almost every other
Okay.
site has some version of what's called a query string URL that you can use.
Got it. Yeah. We send out weekly newsletters with those kind of queries, and they've been weird lately since we switched to Sierra, but now I know that we'll just have to change it up.
Book a time with me. I'll walk through it with you and see if we can find a way around it. Okay. Any other questions on this so far? That was a good one. You have to force sign in. Okay, so this, I want to show you a little bit about the work I do and what it means in monetary return. Okay, so the organic traffic I was getting in the month of April, this was April 22, we had 1,352 organic monthly traffic that month. Would have cost me $1,700 in Google Ads to replicate that amount of traffic. Okay, and in July, when more people are looking for houses in July than in April, July we had 2427 organic traffic. That would have cost me $5,000 to replicate in Google ad spend. So just by putting in 20 minutes a week, building out 3 or 4 more pages, and then 20 minutes the next week, building out 3 or 4 more pages. Over time, you start filling out the petals of this flower, and your site becomes richer with content, and Google says, oh my gosh, let's send people to that. Does that all make sense? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the things that make Google love us and the things that make Google not love us. So there are 7 elements, I hold up 7 fingers here, 7 elements of SEO. Okay, search engine optimization. Now you're going to hear a new term called GEO, which is generative engine optimization, which is for AI stuff. I'm not even going to cover that today. That's the 201 level class. Right now we're just going to talk search engine optimization. Okay, so off-page SEO up here in the side here. That is your inbound links from other people's sites. That's the domain authority of people talking about you. Say that Beyonce, Wendy, let's say Beyonce comes to your town. And Beyonce is up at the microphone and says, oh my God, Wendy is the best real estate agent. Do you think you're going to get some credibility off that? Now, if my aunt goes to the corner and whispers to herself, oh my God, Wendy is such a great real estate agent, is anybody listening? No, because nobody listens to my aunt, not even us. So the point is that you want to have a site with a high domain authority, a Beyonce domain authority talking about you, rather than one like my aunt. Okay, so we want to have sites that have links to us that are better than we are. Now, most domain authorities on realtor websites rank between anywhere from like 15 to 33 out of 100. Okay, that's normal. Sites like CNN, sites like Disney, things like that have very high domain authority because it's very clear what their brands are about. So we want to get links from other sites back to us. And part of that is the off-page SEO, is that getting those higher domain authority sites to have a conversation about us would be great. Behavior. This has to do with when people come to our site, how quickly do they leave? How quickly do they click through to something that is off of our site? How long do they dwell on our site? Okay. What are they doing when they're there? If we have a long dwell time, meaning that people stay on our site for at least 5 to 10 minutes, maybe, hypothetically, Google's going to say, wow, people are satisfied on that site. They have good content because people stay there a long time. Let's send more people there. If you have a high bounce rate, meaning people come to your site and within 30 seconds leave, Google goes, well, they must not be satisfying their clients well. People don't stay on that site. I'll send people elsewhere. Then is personalization, search history, search location, device, that sort of thing. If I have a device that's older, Google may not send me, or search engines may not send me to a site that has new technology that my phone wouldn't render well. If I'm standing in the middle of Dallas and I look for florist, it's not going to give me a florist in Washington, D.C. It's going to give me, based on my location, a florist nearby. It may also give me a florist that I've used 100 times, and it just, oh, you know, you're looking for a florist again, you must want this one. So that has to do with personalization of the person looking. Citations. Every website, and y'all better have this, every website needs to have your address, your phone number, your email address, all the things about you, and you need to put that on almost every page. And usually you can put that on a footer or a sidebar, and that'll do it. Spammer sites don't put citations. And that's a way that Google looks to see if you're a real site or you're a spammer site. Okay? Now, on page is what we can affect when we're building the site out. That has to do with the keywords, that has to do with the meta description, that has to do with the titling, that has to do with how we lay the pages out. Is the content helpful? That's the part we can really affect the most. Now, some SEO people will tell you keywords are dead. Some people think that keywords are still working. I tend to think they're still working because if I change my keywords, my ranking changes. And as soon as Realtor and Zillow get rid of their keywords, I'll get rid of mine. But right now, my two biggest competitors are still using them, and I'm going to use them. Reviews. Now, this has to do with how we're doing our reviews on Google Business Profile. How many of you have been getting reviews on your Google Business Profile? Okay, every hand needs to go up. Sandra needs to get on y'all's butts about that. Okay, I have one guy on my coaching group who's gotten over 100 reviews, I think, in 3 months or something like that. Just extraordinary. Okay, so how your reviews are doing is great. And then the proximity of the business and the keyword title, I'm sorry, proximity, categories, keywords, and business title. This has to do with the Google Business Profile. These are 7 elements that affect how you rank. And I know it's exhausting. I get that. There are 2 ways you rank. One is in the Google Local Pack, which is like, hey, I'm looking for an Italian restaurant. It's going to show me a little map with Italian restaurants near me. And the other is in your organic search results. So there's 2 ways to rank here. You'll notice that in 2021, the 2 things that affected your Google Business Profile at the top were the 2 lowest things that affected your website. They were 2 totally disconnected ways of searching. What happened on your Google Business Profile had to do with your reviews and your keywords that you picked there. Everything that had to do with websites was separate. And that's how it was in 2021. You could kind of run 2 separate strategies here. And then Google got smart and mixed them all up. So now your business profile can help your website, and your website can help your profile. Fran, I see you looking at this real hard. Does this make sense? Okay, so we cannot just have a strategy where we're dealing only with TikTok, or we're dealing only with, our Google Business Profile, or we're only dealing with our website. They all talk to each other now, and they help each other. Any questions on this? This is where I tend to lose people, so I want to stop here and see if anybody's got any questions or comments. Unmute and talk to me, please.
What is a on-page signal?
Okay, signals are their new term for what I just showed you about on page. They use the word signals now instead of keywords and stuff like the other things we talked about here. These items here, they weren't called signals before. Google changes the name just to make everybody jump and do what they want. They could have called them pancakes, and we'd be talking about on-page pancakes. Yeah, but to them, it's a signal of how you're using the site and how it's working. Now I want pancakes. I don't know why I said that. Okay, any questions on this so far? Okay, so I can do one of 2 things. I can keep going on this kind of search here, or I could jump into somebody's website and maybe we could do a practical exam of how the site is doing. Does anybody want to give me your website and let us kind of check it out in a non-threatening way and see how you're doing and what would possibly maybe be improved? Okay, Mark?
Yeah, you can use mine. It's nmhomies.com. HOMIES.com.
Homies.com. That's cute. Okay.
Ayuris?
Oops.
Uh-oh.
Is that because that could be because I'm VPN.
Mensaje a los clientes que
Okay, let me try. Okay, Rosie, I'm going to mute you. Rosie? You're speaking into I can't mute you for some reason. Okay, let me try it again. Yay, okay, so you should know that on a VPN, people can't use your site. And a lot of people do VPN, so that might be something that's restricting people. Okay, so we're going to do, first thing I like to do is I like to get to the white space and then look at the page source. This is basically turning the site upside down and looking at the back side of it. Okay, so I'm going to find the word meta, and I want to look for meta description. Okay, let's look for description. You do not have a meta description? Here we go. Search homes in greater Albuquerque area. Listings include large photos, virtual tours, Google Maps. Okay, I would nix some of this and I'd go just for focusing on homes in Albuquerque. And I'd mention the name of your city twice. If you go out and look at Albuquerque, New Mexico homes for sale, you're going to bring up Realtor and Zillow. They don't mention Realtor and Zillow in here, but they mention the name of the city twice. Okay. I love to take realtors and change it up a view. Instead of a number, I put all the homes. View all the homes in Albuquerque, New Mexico for sale, add a median price, and I take the price out and say, you know, median price, that's affordable, or something like that. I just change that so you don't have to come update the numbers every time. So your meta description could be a little stronger. Let's look at, do you have keywords here? You do have keywords, but they're blank. So one thing I do is I use a product called Keywords Everywhere. You'll see that Realtor.com has 225 keywords up against you, and you have 0. Zillow has 258 keywords against you, and you have 0. So find a way to get those keywords in here. Now, this is Keywords Everywhere, and you can literally click on this number, and it's going to tell me Realtor or Zillow's keywords. If you have a competitor that's always beating you every month in the market, go look at their website, go look at their keywords, see what they have that you don't. Okay, do a little analysis on those keywords and see what you like. Now, Keywords Everywhere is wonderful because I can click this button right here and copy all those keywords or put them in an Excel spreadsheet, and then I have them because they're not copyrighted. The one caveat I will give you is you cannot mention another brokerage. So like Zillow is a brokerage here, so you'd have to change the word Zillow to something. Okay, and I just usually substitute the word realtor instead of Zillow because I am a realtor. I don't do realtor.com, I do realtor. Okay, so I have a little script that will take that out for me. But you want to come through here and just double check them and be sure that there's not like, if you're Century 21, don't have Remax in your keywords. That's fine, that makes sense. But you can come here and get these keywords and then put them onto your site. And then instead of having 0 keywords, you'll have something better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is you have, let's see, you have communities here. How many communities have you described? Okay, so you only have, what is that? That's 8, 9, 10. You have 11 communities here, and 3 of them are zip codes. Was that intentional?
No.
Okay. What if you had as many communities as you can possibly find on here? What if you had a link for as many possible ways of doing this as you can? And I want you to think outside of where you want to drive. Okay, Rosie, I see you're driving right now. If you're driving to a listing and you want, and let's say you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, and Dallas-Fort Worth covers 4 counties. But let's say you're kind of like, you know, you're not really into driving, so you only want to cover Plano, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. Well, I'm going to challenge you that you should advertise all of Dallas-Fort Worth, because if you don't want to drive to it, you can refer it out. Who likes to sit on their butt and make money? Come on now. So when you're looking at your website and you say, well, that county's too far, but I can market to it, why would you not market to it? Because then you can make referral money. Okay, makes sense? So I would pop out every possible city and county I could think of here and put it on here. And when you're doing this, you'll discover areas that you didn't even think about. I'm sorry, who was that?
I'm sorry, it was me.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
I meant to raise my hand. I actually get referrals from Google, my business, because I circled all around like 50 miles around me. So I get other people looking from out of state and my name pops up and I get to refer business out to those areas where nobody's advertising. So I'm able to secure
That's
at
great.
least anywhere from 2 to 3 leads a year. It's free money and I only pay if they, call directly through Google. So it's like a free Google ad because nobody is in those areas. So it does work.
Yeah, and I make a lot of referrals. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I didn't pay her to say that just now. I should have, but I didn't. So yeah, that's a great way to do it. So I would take your site. If you stay with this site, I would definitely build this out even more. Okay, and have as many as possible. Now, do you have your social media pages? All your social media is pointing back to this site.
They should
Okay.
be, if not, I can get it.
I would
Marketing
go
director.
audit that and be sure.
Mhm.
I would go audit that and be sure. And when you have your Google Business Profile, when you're posting products to your profile, you want to be sure that they all point back to the website. I get around
Okay, yeah.
100 to 110 clicks a month from my Google Business Profile to my website. And it's possible to do that. The more you put your site out there, the more people will click on it. Anybody else have a website you want me to review real quick?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Gina? I saw your hand first.
Yeah, beachlooprealty.com.
Okay,
And
one
it
more
is
thing.
a
I'm sorry.
Sierra Beach.
Before I hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. One more thing I meant to do on Mark's site before we do this is the traffic analysis real quick. And before I move on, let me do that. And then I'll get to yours.
Yep.
So NewMexicoHomies.com, nmhomies.com. Okay, so you had an apex of 148 people coming organically, and you've fallen down here to 14. So whatever you did these 2 months, do it again. Okay, now I'm sorry. We'll move on. Beach what now?
Beach Loop Realty.
Beachlooprealty.com. Okay.
And it is a Sierra website, which has been concerning with the IDX.
Okay. Okay. And again, I don't get paid by any brand, and I don't beat up any brand just for the fun of it. So find description. If I could spell, it'd be lovely. Okay. Search homes for sale in Southern Oregon coast. Listings include, and you see this exact same phrase, listings include large photos. That's
Yeah.
on every Sierra site.
It's
If
terrible.
I take that and I search for that phrase, I'm going to find every Sierra customer out there who didn't change their site. Okay. Well, I found one. Interesting. That totally didn't work. Yeah, isn't that the same phrase that we just ran into on Mark's? Very similar. Okay. So now your keywords are Southern Oregon coast properties. Is that Coos County? Okay. So this is a little bit scattered because you have multiple counties here. Tom Ferry will tell you the world will punish the vague request and reward the specific ask. Okay. If you have multiple counties and multiple cities in your URL and in your meta description, Google doesn't know exactly who you're for. Like I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth, but I cannot have a DFW page. I have to have a Dallas page and a Fort Worth page, and then a page for every little city around there. So if I'm flying in to see you, where am I landing? What's your magnet city?
Okay. Bandon.
No, Camden?
Bandon. B-A-N-D. Mhm.
Okay, so then your site needs to be about that magnet city and then have other pages for the other places. Okay? Like if you're coming to see, let's say you're in Northern Virginia, you're flying into Washington, D.C. That's your magnet city. Okay? Then everybody else will find the suburbs.
Can I
But
ask
they're
you a
not
question?
sure. No, absolutely not.
Our brokerage is located in Bandon, which is a small town, but our bigger city where an airport is would be Coos Bay or North Bend. So would you
Okay.
use that hub with more population?
If I wanted my site to have more hits, wouldn't I go with the place that had more population?
Mhm.
And even if I want to specialize in one of the smaller areas, wouldn't my site be getting me more money if I was referring out to the larger places?
Yep. Well, we can
Yeah.
still do business there. So,
Oh, exactly. Exactly. So why not use, it's the same $2 or $3 or $4 or $500. By the way, if you're paying over $350 a month for your website, you're paying too much. So If you can make money off the site and let it advertise in places that you don't want to drive to, great. Because
So
you're
the
still going to make more money.
keywords should not have the two counties. It should just have maybe one county and and one main city.
I would have give me the city again.
Coos Bay, Oregon. The airport's in North Bend, but they're right next to each other.
Okay, so there's 75 keywords against you right now. Not one of them is going to mention anything but Coos Bay. They're not going to probably go broader than that. It's going to be very specific, sticking to narrow focus on that city. And then your next page will be about the other places and the other places and the other places. But you have to be specific on where you're serving. When you have a broad number of keywords, Google gets confused. Okay. If I tell you that you're going to show me a listing today at 123 Banana Street, and you show up and the house has banana, orange, peppers, and all the other street names on it, and has every house number possible, you don't know which house to show. That's what we're doing when we say our site is about all these places. No, our site needs to be about this, and this other page will be about this, and our other page will be about that.
Okay.
Okay. It'll get you more traction.
Okay.
Okay, so back to your site here for a second. How many leads are you getting per month off of this?
Me? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting between 2 and 3 a day that register when
Okay, you
traffic
got good
is on the-
organic traffic. Are you forcing registration?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Not on the
Excellent.
first, they say on the third.
Change it to the first. Change it to the first. You're getting good organic traffic on this one. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's see. Have you built out any communities? You've got some communities here. Let's see. Let's go.
Some searches, also.
Okay, so that's abandoned. And so that does have its, one thing I like is when you have a separate description and keywords for this each city. So that's good. Some sites it'll inherit the same keywords and meta description only for the major site rather than having each subpage. So you did well there. This is nice. This is good. And do you have your socials focused back on this site?
Do I have what?
Do you have your social media focused back on this site?
I have it going straight to beachlooprealty.com.
Fabulous. Move to the head of the class. Good job.
Thank you. I did just add a lot of SEO after meeting with Sandra and doing different calls with her. So I started messing with it.
Okay. Okay. Who else? Anybody else want me to run your site real quick? And I've got one more thing to show off. James and then is it Ida?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go James and then Ida.
Okay. So it's Florida Relocation Realestate.com.
I'm sorry, I was gonna go with James first. Okay, well, I'll do yours first and then we'll do James.
Sorry.
Florida relocation?
Realestate.com.
Okay. Now I like your URL right away because somebody someday could buy that from you.
Yeah, I get emails all the time.
Okay, if people wanting to buy that? Okay. So one thing I would say is it took a little bit of, did you see how the screen changed when you brought the site up? That's a little bit of latency in either a script or something like that. The pictures are blurry. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Okay, do you see how things wiggle when they move? And oh, that just flipped up. Okay, that looks pretty to the human eye. Google will not appreciate it because it's what's called visual stability. And when the site takes time to be visually stable, it goes, wow, we're spending too much time. Let's go to a faster site. But what the trick is that people, human beings, think, well, we gotta have something flashy and cool and different. Let's put in some wigglies and some squiggles and stuff. It slows us. It's either slowing down the browser or slowing down the server. One of the two. Google doesn't like either one. Present the stuff, be done. Okay. If you haven't, now you don't have this, but some websites have like an IMAX movie playing in the background with swans swimming in and water. That sort of stuff looks good to the human eye, slows your site way down. So if you have, and I know like Agent Image and Luxury Presence push this a lot. It's got a, you got flyover with Superman coming through your city, that sort of thing, slows your site down. You're not gonna track organically that well. Okay. Let's find out your meta description and keywords here. Okay, so we're going to search for description. There we go, down here. So Florida relocation, real estate strives to provide best real estate services in Orlando, Lake, is it Lake Nona? Okay, you have the same situation here where you're mentioning multiple things. Your magnet city is Orlando. I would make the homepage completely about Orlando and then build other pages for the other sites. And I would not mention myself in the meta description. I would only mention Orlando, Orlando, Orlando. It's like going to the airport and you get up to the gate agent and you want to hand the gate agent your baggage and get the boarding pass and get on the plane. You do not care that her name is Karen and she loves to knit and has kittens. Okay, you want to give her the bag, get the ticket, and get on the plane. These people are coming to our website. They want to see houses and they want to find a house and then they'll meet you. But right away, they don't care about you. So don't make the site descriptions and everything about you. Make it about the city you're serving. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And then let's look at keywords here just to double check. Florida, capitalized, relocation, 2 commas shouldn't be there. Orlando, real estate, buy, comma, home, comma, in. No, that's not so good. So you need to go out and look at your Orlando keywords and borrow them off of a site that's ranking. And you can use keywords everywhere for that. Okay. I will tell, Real Geeks often has very generic keywords when you first start out. And if you don't know to go change them, you're just not going to rank anywhere because it's just so generic. So I think you kind of got stuck with some of that. Okay, James, we'll hop to you and then I got something else I want to show and then we'll get everybody out of here.
All right, thanks, Bob. My website's jameshowhomes.ca.
What part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Vancouver.
Okay. Oh, I'm a human. It thinks I'm human. That's good. Okay. So it's a good picture. Okay, all your awards, that's nice. Okay, we'll right click. And one thing I noticed just before I clicked off of here is that this started, see that you've got the flyover. That's, to me, I would just have a static picture. People are not coming to our websites to see movies. They're coming to our website to see homes. So I have to scroll down to here to see the first set of homes. I would try to find a way to get the homes at the top and get people into what they're looking for. Find description. People are not very forgiving. If they go to a site and they don't see what they want, they immediately go somewhere else. And right now what they're going to do is go to Realtor or Zillow. Okay. We weave knowledge, intellect, and passion into our clients' goals to achieve an extraordinary results. Where? Where? We need to know where it's at. That meta description is going to be very interesting to see if that's going to bring people in. I would make it about the city and not about the service right now. Just me. You know, I could be wrong, but that's what I would do. That's a great thing to have as your statement and put it on your site in text that the world can read. I would not make that my meta description.
Okay.
And okay, so your site company does not believe in keywords, so you don't have that ability to do that. And you said what's your major city?
Vancouver. Well, I work in 2 major cities. So we specialize in the Vancouver West Side as well as Richmond.
So Vancouver, British Columbia, homes for sale.
Yeah, but Vancouver West Side's kind of like its own neighborhood.
Okay. But just for Vancouver, there are 216 keywords against you. You're given 0. Okay. So just consider that the website company, and don't tell me who it is because I don't need to know, doesn't believe in that strategy. And so they're kind of handicapping you. Are you buying Google ads for this?
Yes.
Okay. That's a strategy on their part. Are you paying through them or are you doing it yourself?
Through that.
Okay. Just think about that. It's great to have the customer lined up when they come in for a site that's not going to have the organic abilities to do what you need. And then you just get to, like, pick them off and make them pay for ads. When you're searching on here, that's one more thing that I noticed on here. There's not a place to search for homes, right? That's readily apparent. Okay. If I'm on here and I want to search for homes, am I going to go search and try to find where that link is? Or am I just going to bounce to somebody else's website that lets me put in what I want? This is a great brochure site for you. It's not necessarily a great lead gen site organically, at least not that I'm seeing yet. So think about that. Okay. Can we cover one more thing and then I'll let y'all go? Who is using Google Maps at all? Who uses Google Maps to get around town? Okay, so let me go to Texas Pride Realty. This is my site. Now I want to show you what I've been doing on some maps stuff that's a little different than most people are using maps. I create custom maps. Okay, I'm creating maps for all sorts of different services in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Best places to get Indian food, best places to get Tex-Mex, best places to find fireworks. And the fireworks one went a little long there. Let me get down to, come on, baby. This is movers. Best places, best movers and storage companies. If you click on this, and it took me a while to make these maps, you're going to see all the movers right here. And I'm going to say, oh my gosh, that's a great moving company or a storage company. And if you click on the little gray house, that's a link to my website to find out what the value of your home is in this area. Okay, all the little gray houses are links to different cities that I built in my website, because when people are looking to store something or find a movers, they're often looking to sell their house. I found a way to drop links in the middle of Google Maps. This is searchable. People can find them in a search, and they might click on this and do a market report on Colleyville. And it's going to bring up a market report and show you all the properties that are for sale in Colleyville and what their price point is. I'm trying to find ways to get people to accidentally stumble onto my website and realize that they could find the property values or with the houses for sale. So this is authentic Italian places, authentic Italian cuisine. You click on that, and again, I didn't make them houses, but the little gray dots are links to my site, and these are different Italian restaurants around Dallas-Fort Worth. While we're here, let's see what homes are for sale in Irving. It takes them to the Irving page on my website and shows them all the homes for sale in Irving. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm trying something new and different that nobody else is trying using Google Maps. And you can make the map searchable and people will find it. So this map's been seen 76 times since June. Is that a great number? Probably not, but it's 76 more people that might know about my company because they're hungry. Italian food sounds good this time of day. So that's just the random sort of stuff that I'm like going crazy trying to find new ways to get my site marketed that other people are not competing for. Does that make sense? Does that help anybody?
How did you say you got those dots on the map, on Google Map?
So I went into maps.google.com. By the way, I teach a class on this later if y'all want it. And I want to be sure I'm signed in as my company, Texas Pride Realty. And I go over here to saved maps. Okay, so these are Italian restaurants, storage units, stuff like that. So I was doing divorce. Let's do divorce attorneys. I have my base layer of all my cities. I'm sorry, all my gray cities there. I want to turn that layer off because I just want to deal with the divorce attorneys. And so let's look at the city of Flower Mound. Flower Mound, divorce, spell it right, attorneys. And it's going to suggest different divorce attorneys for me. I'm just going to go over here and click yes. And I'm going to add those. And I'm going to now pick over to, let's go to Southlake, Texas, divorce attorney. And it's going to give me even more. And I'm just going to keep adding them to the map. And then when I'm ready, I turn back on my layer of houses and I publish the map. But building that base layer of house links takes some time. That's where if you have the URL that lets you have the city name in the URL is helpful. And you can then just kind of put these maps out for different searches. Mexican food. Who doesn't look for Mexican food in Texas? Who doesn't look for, different styles of homes, things like that, and just put things out there and see what we do. I have them out for Halloween, Thanksgiving, places to see Christmas lights, places to take a romantic date for Valentine's Day. And I've been doing this for about a year, and I'm going to go back now because the year has passed. I can go back to last year's maps, refresh them, and have them ready for this year. And then I blog about them on my site, and I put them on my Google business profile. And hopefully drive people back to my site. I know this is like a fraction of a fun thing to do, but it's one more thing to top a funnel, stand out, and get people to look at me. And it's kind of fun to say you have a map of divorce attorneys.
Mhm.
That way, if somebody pisses you off, you're like, hey, I got a map of divorce attorneys. You don't need this. Come on. Any other questions? Thank you for sticking with it. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I think there's things in the chat. Did I miss things in the chat? Okay, those were just sites. Okay, you'll have a great weekend, and I will chat with Sandra. If you have any questions, reach out to me directly, or just ask her to ask me. Okay?
Thank you.
Take care,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.